Namaste. I'm Aubrey. I'll be guiding you through your practice today. This is Jamie. He'll be my body demo on the mat. In class today, we'll be working through some transitions and also into our hips. We'll be working to balance the energy of the warrior and the yogi. The warrior fights for that which can change. So our own behavior, our reaction to other people's behavior, decision-making, the environment around us. Balancing that warrior spirit with the yogi spirit. The yogi sits, surrenders to that which cannot change. The environment around us, the actions, behaviors of others. So as we flow through this class, just finding that equanimity, that balance in the center. With that being said, let's start lying down supine position with your feet to touch and your knees wide. If you have 2 yoga blocks, grab them. If you don't have yoga blocks, go ahead and grab some pillows. Bring your feet to touch, draw your knees out wide, and place blocks underneath your knees for added support. Now you choose the height of the pillow or the block. And if you're feeling any sensitivity in your low back by lying this way, option to grab a blanket and also place that underneath your low back for a little added support. And then you can place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, or bring your arms at your sides if that's more comfortable. Begin to close your eyes and take a moment to tune in to your body. Notice how it feels to lie with your heart facing upward. Notice the sensation in your outer hips, your inner thighs. And scan your body for any tension. Tension could be felt in major muscle groups or somewhere like a big toe or even your jaw. So noticing where you are holding tension and then letting that tension go. Take a few more moments here to scan the body for tension and let that tension go. Notice the natural rhythm of your breath. How and where your breath is flowing. And then take an inhale through your nose, breathe into your belly, breathe up into your chest, and let it go. Inhale, breathe, belly, up into your chest, and let it go. One more, inhale, belly, up into your chest, and let it go. Seal your lips, start to breathe in through your nose and out of your nose. If breathing in and out of your nose is not accessible for you, feel free to use your mouth as needed. Begin to establish a rhythm of breath, your own cadence. 3 to 4 counts through your nose or mouth on the inhale, and 4 to 5 counts out of your nose or mouth on the exhale. Softening where you can in your body. Continuing to notice and scan your body. You'd like to set an intention for your practice, a word, a phrase, an image that connects you to your warrior spirit, And that also connects you to your Yogi spirit. A word that comes to mind for me when balancing these two is humility. So I encourage you to choose whatever came to your mind. Follow that intuition. And then gently take your hands to the outside of your knees and begin to close them like a book. Hug your knees to your chest. Rock side to side for a few moments on your low back. And then roll onto your left side body, coming into a fetal position type shape. Bend your left arm and just place your left bicep underneath your left ear for a pillow. Draw your knees up to a 90-degree angle. Blink your eyes open if they're closed. Grab your yoga block or a pillow and place it between your knees. And again, just bend your elbow and use your palm behind your head just to prop yourself up. Take your right hand and reach it long out in front of you to irradiate some tension. And then from here, squeeze the block between your knees and start to lift your top heel, your right heel above your right knee, internally rotating your hip. Inhale, lower your heel back down. And exhale, internally rotate, lift your heel up. Couple more, inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. As you do this for a few more reps on your own, what we're looking for is if your top hip is hiking up towards your shoulder. This shows you that your pelvis might be compensating for the rotation in your hip, so simply take notice. You can also take your right hand and place it on your hip crease to just notice if it's hiking up. Let's just do one more like that. This time, hold your heel up above your knee, maintaining hip internal rotation. And then start to rotate your tibia by turning your big toe down and heel up, and then big toe up and heel down. As you continue to do this, big toe down, heel up, notice and watch your shin turning. Big toe up, heel down, shin turns out. Big toe down, heel up, shin turns in and down. And then lower your heel back down to your left. Awesome, remove the block out in front of you. And then come to your left forearm to a modified side plank position. Send your right leg long. Keep your left knee bent at a 90-degree angle. So lifting up here through your left side body, you can even take a block and place it underneath your left rib cage to make sure you're not dipping in your side body. Take your right hand and grab for your left heel. Lift your left heel up, drive your left knee down. Now in 3, 2, 1, take your right hand away, but keep your left heel lifted, driving your left knee down for 3, 2, 1, strap back on, grab your right heel, lift up, drive your left knee down in 3, 2, take your hand away, and 1, hold, 3, 2, 1, strap back on, last rep here, lift up, 3, 2, 1, take your hand away, hold for 3, 2, 1, and slowly lower back down. Awesome, roll over to the other side body now, onto your right side. We'll do that same series on the other side. So come down to a fetal position shape. Bring your right hand underneath your head, prop yourself up onto your right elbow. Reach your left arm out in front of you to irradiate some tension. Draw your knees to a 90-degree angle, knees in line with your hips. Grab your block or your pillow and place it between your knees. Squeeze the block and start to lift your left heel above your left knee, internally rotating your hip. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Again, option to take your left hand to your left hip crease as you do this for the next few reps, and notice if your hip is hiking up which again will show you your pelvis or your low back is compensating for your hip rotation. So just warming up our hips here as we progress to more hip work throughout class. Last one, hold your heel up above your knee, biasing this internal rotation. Tibia rotations, turning your shin bone. Lift your big toe up to the ceiling, turn your heel down. Big toe down, heel up, shin turns in. 2 more, big toe up, heel down. Big toe down, heel up. 1 more, big toe up, heel down. Big toe down, heel up. And lower your heel back down. Remove the block. Rise to your right forearm, modified side plank position. Send your left leg long. Maintain a 90-degree angle. Right hip, right knee, right ankle. Left leg is long. Drive through your right forearm to lift your right side body away from the mat. Take your left hand, grab for your right heel, lift up into hip external rotation. Drive your right knee down, hold 3, 2, take your hand away, maintain that same degree if you can for 2, 1, strap back on, lift up, drive your knee down, hold 3, 2, 1, take your hand away, hold, you got it, 3, 2, 1, strap back on, last rep, drive your right knee down, trying to minimize lag time, hold, 3, 2, 1, take your hand away, hold, 3, 2, 1, and slowly lower your foot down. Awesome, come to a seiza position, seated, hips to heels, tops of feet down to your mat. Bring your legs out in front of you, place your feet down onto the mat. Take your hands behind you to irradiate some tension. Lift up all 10 of your toes. Place just your big toes down onto the mat. Lift your big toes up. Place your outer 4 toes down. Maybe. Outer 4 toes up. Place your big toes down. Big toes up. Place your outer 4 toes down. Lift up all 10 toes. Spread your toes as wide as they go. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and relax your toes down. Come into a half figure 4 position with your left leg. So draw your left foot in, knee out. Keep your right knee bent. Take your right arm behind your right thigh. Pick your leg up. Take your left hand to the front of your right shin. Take your right hand to your left forearm. Draw your right calf down to your right forearm for a slight squeeze. Point your toes down towards the ground, and then start to circle your foot in, up, out, down. 2 more, in, trying to keep your toes still, up, out, down. It's okay if they're moving, just take a mental note, in, up, out, down, reverse, circle out, noticing where it gets sticky in your ankle. It will show you where you might be lacking some mobility in the joint. Again, taking a mental note there. We'll be using our ankles and knees quite a bit through transitions during class today. After 3 reps in that direction, go ahead and just bring your hands down to the ground, bring your right foot back down. Take your hands now and interlace them at the front of your shin. And then slide them up to the very base of your knee to lock your knee in place. Draw your right toes up towards your right ankle. Now drag your right heel back towards your hamstring to feel engagement of your hamstring here. So dragging your right heel back. Now start to pivot on your heel. Big toe in, internally rotating, feeling your shin turn in. Externally rotating, big toe out, heel in. A couple more like that. Big toe in, heel out, turning your shin, big toe out, and heel in. 2 more on your own. As we move throughout practice today, we'll be doing a lot of tibia rotation through our transitions. So remember this as we start to flow through our practice today, this movement of the knee. And then release. Bring your right knee leg now to a figure 4. Bend your left knee, place your left foot on the mat. Take your left hand behind your left thigh and pick your leg up. Take your right hand to the front of your left shin. Take your left hand and grab your right forearm. Squeeze your left calf down. Point your toes down to the mat, circle your ankle in, up, out, and down. 2 more times in that direction, noticing, is this ankle a bit stickier than your other ankle? If you've had previous injuries, that might be an indication. Just taking note which side is a bit stickier. After 2 reps, reverse. 3 reps, the opposite direction. Circle out, up, in, down. 2 more reps, noticing if the toes are doing anything funky or weird. Again, taking a mental note of that. Last rep here, staying with your breath. And then release your foot down to the mat, interlace your fingers to your shin, and then slide up to the base of your knee to hold your knee in place. Lift your toes up towards your shin, dorsiflex your ankle, drag your heel towards your glute, feeling your hamstring turn on. Pivot your big toe in and heel out, turning your shin in. Big toe out and heel in, turning your shin out. Few more like that, turning in and out. Keep dragging your heel towards your glute. Big toe out, heel in. Keep lifting your toes up. 1 more rep. Big toe in, heel out. And big toe out, heel in. And gently release. Come back to a seated position, Seiza, hips towards heels. Let's just warm up our wrists before we get into quadruped. Bring your elbows to your side bodies. You should be more familiar with this. Notice we're integrating a lot of wrist work, especially for climbers. So these are just great ways to get your wrists moving before loading them. Spread your fingers as wide as they go, and then extend, draw your fingertips down towards the ground, keeping your fingers spread apart. Flex, lift your fingertips up towards the ceiling, bending at your wrist without bending your fingers if you can. Hold. Start to circle your fingers in towards the midline without turning your forearm. Keep your forearm pointed straight up. Extend, reach your fingertips down. Circle out wide. Flex fingertips to the ceiling. Hold, reverse, circle out. Extend down. Adduct, scrape in. And flex, lift up. Release your hands down to your side. Come to a quadruped position, all 4s. Stack your shoulders above your wrists, stack your hips above your knees. Spread your fingers as wide as they go, keep your toes tucked. Now, take your left hand a bit wider than your right. So a bit wider, maybe the outside of your yoga mat. Angle your fingertips to face out to the side. This will help to feel more stable in your quadruped as we move through our hips. Draw your ribs in, pull your chin in without rounding your spine. Extend, lift up towards the ceiling. Externally rotate, open your left knee wide, pull your knee and heel forward to your left wrist crease, pause. Lower your knee underneath your chest and back to the center. Okay. 1 more half rep. Extend, lift your heel up towards the ceiling. Externally rotate, open your left knee wide. This time, straighten your left knee for a knee hinge and then lower the knife edge, the inside knife edge of your left foot down to the mat. So big toe side is lowered down. From here, working into your hip. Begin to externally rotate your hip. Keep your heel down, pivot on your heel as you lift your big toe up towards the ceiling. And then internally rotate, pivot on your heel, drawing your big toe back down to the mat. 2 more, externally rotate, pivot on your heel, lift your big toe up. Internally rotate, big toe down, rotate your hip in. 1 more, big toe up, pivot on your heel, externally rotate. Big toe down, pivot on your heel, internally rotate. Hold. Option to stay here, or for a fun challenge, maybe try and hover your left foot, left leg off the mat for 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. Leg stays where it's at. Just start to walk your hands towards the top of your mat as you shift your hips back towards your right heel, just coming into a nice inner thigh stretch. Couple rounds of breath here. You determine how far you want to send your hips back. Doesn't have to be quite as far, just so you feel a nice stretch in your left inner thigh. Inhale, shift back forward. And then as you exhale, just gracefully as you can, meet me back in a quadruped, all 4s. We'll do that same thing on the other side. Awesome. Moving through hip cars first. Draw your right heel towards your glute. Extend, lift your heel up towards the ceiling. Externally rotate, open your right knee wide. Max out knee towards right elbow, and then lower your thigh underneath your chest. Return your right knee to the mat. Again, heel up towards the ceiling, hip extension, lift your leg. Externally rotate, open your right knee wide, draw your right knee ankle forward to your right elbow, lower your thigh underneath your chest, and bring your right knee down to the mat. Moving into a half rep and then taking it to another transition. Extend your hip, lift your left heel towards the ceiling without arching in your back. Externally rotate, open your right knee wide, pause. Knee hinge, begin to straighten your right knee, connect the inside of your foot down to the mat, big toe side. Hold. Externally rotate, pivot on your heel, lift your right big toe towards the ceiling. Internally rotate, turn your hip down as you connect your big toe back to the mat. 2 more, externally rotate, lift your big toe up, pivot on your heel. Internally rotate, reconnect your foot to the mat. Again, externally rotate, lift your foot, lift your big toe, pivot on your heel. Internally rotate, big toe down and hold. Option is stay or play with a little challenge here. Try and hover your foot and leg up for 3. If it doesn't happen, no, this is extremely challenging, totally fine. 2 and 1, lower back down. On your next exhale, begin to shift your hips back, walk your hands forward towards the top of your space, just coming to an inner thigh stretch. Again, you determine how far back you want to send your hips. Stay connected to your breath. Inhale, shift forward, and slowly as you exhale, come back to all fours. Knees underneath hips, wrists underneath shoulders, quadruped position. Now, if you need to, you can take a moment, even pause the video as needed, shake out your hands and your wrists, opening and closing, maybe just massaging your hands, just giving them a break, coming back to your breath. And then meeting me in a quadruped position. Inhale, tuck your toes under. Exhale, high plank, step 1 foot back and then the other, high plank position. If this isn't accessible for you, keep your knees on the ground for a collapsed high plank. Inhale, breath. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up, press your chest towards your thighs. Remember, you can always shorten the length of your downward facing dog by walking your feet closer to your hands, or continue to lengthen your downward facing dog by keeping your feet further back away from your wrists. In your downward facing dog, spread your fingers wide. Make sure your pointer fingers are pointed forward or slightly turned outward. Become aware of the backside of your heart, your upper back. Breathe into the back line of your body and always invite a deep bend in your knees as needed. Beautiful. Inhale in downward facing dog and exhale. Inhale, lift your right leg high to the sky. Stay for your exhale. Square your right hip down in line with your left. Keep hips square. Activate your right inner thigh and activate and engage your back ankle and toes. Exhale, draw your right heel towards your right glute, curl your hamstring. Lift your left heel high, inhale. Exhale, right knee to right tricep. Step your right foot outside of your right hand to a wide lunge position. Hold. You can rise to your fingertips if you need more space, or option to take your 2 blocks and place them underneath your hands for an added lift. Inhale, begin to shift your weight forward. Exhale, step your left foot outside of your left hand, controlling the movement as you can. Lower down through Malasana into a squat. If a squat is inaccessible for you, take a block, place it underneath your seat, or roll up your yoga mat or grab a blanket, elevate your heels to make this more accessible. Wherever you're at in your squat, lift your chest up and breathe into your upper spine. Couple rounds of breath here. Squeeze your outer glutes, outer hips to draw your right knees wide. Just stay with your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, bring your fingertips to the mat. Forward fold. Launch your weight forward onto your hands as you lift your hips up, and then bring your chest to your thighs. Toe heel your feet, hips width distance apart. Ragdoll pose, grab opposite elbows in front of your head, ears in line with your bicep muscles. Bend your knees as much as you need to shift your weight more forward. If your pelvis doesn't quite stack above your ankles, that's okay. However, we want the momentum of that happening, pelvis going forward. Last 2 cycles of breath in your ragdoll pose, finding any movement that feels comfortable or feels like it's opening your upper spine, creating some tension release. Exhale, lower your hands to the mat. Keep your feet hips width distance apart, or option to toe heel your big toes to touch, leave a sliver of space between your heels. Inhale, halfway lift, rise to a flat spine, heart forward, gaze slightly forward, hips back. Exhale, forward fold, relax your head and neck, belly to your thighs. 2 more, like a wave in the ocean. Inhale, halfway lift, rise, breathe through your heart. Exhale, forward fold. 1 more, inhale, halfway lift, like a wave, a ripple through your spine. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, bring your belly to your thighs, keep your chin tucked, and on an inhale, begin to round up to stand, 1 vertebra at a time. Drive through your heels. Allow each vertebra in your spine to have its moment as it slowly articulates through flexion as you rise all the way to stand. Shrug your shoulders to your ears and then melt them down your back. Shine your palms forward. Take a full inhale. As you exhale, lean back, arch back, lift your gaze. Hips might go a bit forward. Exhale, rise to center. Inhale, mountain pose, reach out and up. Exhale, grab your left wrist with your right hand and side bend over to your right. Inhale, rise through center, switch your grip, grab your right wrist with your left hand. Exhale, side body stretch to the left. Inhale, rise to center, palms face in towards one another. Exhale, forward fold, soft bend in the knees, lift your tailbone, hinge your hips back, lower with a flat spine. Notice Jamie's drawing his hips back, loading his hamstrings. Very important as you forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank to downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Stay for your exhale. Draw your left hip down in line with your right. Activate through your back toes. Hamstring curl. Draw your left heel towards your glute. Inhale, lift your right heel high. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. Step your left foot outside of your left hand. Now just take a moment as you inhale, breathe into your chest, gaze slightly forward. Stay for your exhale, engage your back leg. Back leg is strong. Again, option to rise to your fingertips or take 2 blocks underneath your hands. Inhale, shift forward, lift your right foot up. Exhale, step your right foot outside of your right hand, come into a Malasana Yogi squat. Again, option to take a block, place it underneath your seat, or elevate your heels. 3 breaths. Inhale, breathe into your chest. As you exhale, can you squeeze your outer glutes, your outer hips, draw your knees wide. Continue breathing up into your chest, feeling space across your upper body, and exhaling, feeling those hips work. 1 more inhale. Exhale, bring your fingertips down to the mat. Shift your weight forward. You can even plant your palms a bit in front of your mat. As you do this, launch your weight forward to lift into a forward fold. Toe heel your feet towards one another. Big toes touch or feet hips width distance. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees. Bring your chest to your thighs. Inhale, roll up to stand, one vertebra at a time. Exhale, shrug your shoulders to your ears, melt them down your back. Inhale, shine your palms forward. Exhale, lean back, arch back. Inhale, rise to stand, arms overhead, mountain pose. Exhale, grab your left wrist with your left hand, side bend to the right. Inhale, rise to center. Grab your right wrist with your left hand. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, rise, palms face inward. Exhale, forward fold. Soft bend in the knees. Lift your tailbone. Load your hamstrings as you hinge and fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, inhale, toe heel your feet hips width distance apart, lift your heels up. Exhale, rolling wave forward, round navel to spine, to belly button to heart. Option to pause here, press back to down dog, or floating upward facing dog, begin to lower your hips down to the mat. Shrug your shoulders up, back, down, press your palms, floating upward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, hold. Inhale, breathe in. And exhale, breathe out. One more, breathe in. And breathe out. Inhale, lift your right leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Plant your right palm down, option to use a block or a water bottle underneath your right palm. Spiral your left heel down to the mat, toes at a 45-degree angle. Reach your left arm in front of your head. Inhale, circle up, rise to warrior two, moving slowly, feeling a big expansion through your upper body. Stay here and breathe. Squeeze your outer right glute to draw your right knee towards your second and third toe. Activate your back leg. Keep your back leg strong. Lower your ribs down, lengthen your tailbone. Take this transition slow. Inhale, lift both heels up off the mat, horse pose. Pivot your back heel in, knee pointed out. Lower your left arm down, reach your right arm high. So check in with yourself. Horse pose, heels in, toes out, knees driving out and wide. Left arm down, right arm up. If you dropped your heels, lift them back up on an inhale. Exhale, double block. Cross your forearms in front of your chest. Begin to pivot your right heel, your front heel out, right toes in. As you drop your heels down to the mat, slice your arms out wide to a double block position. Going over the alignment again. Front leg is straight. Front toes angled slightly in. Back knee in line with your back second toe, meaning left knee bending in the direction of your left second toe. Take this transition slow. Inhale, lift your heels up. Warrior two, start to draw your right elbow in, circle your right elbow in, pivot on your feet. Turn your left big toe in now, right toes pointed forward, coming back to your warrior two stance. Inhale, deep reaching warrior, reach as far forward through your upper body as you can. Hold. Maintain stability through your pelvis as you feel activation and work through your upper spine. Inhale. Exhale, extended side angle. Reach your right arm either to the outside of your right foot or inside of your right foot. Reach your left arm towards the ceiling. Again, you can use a block or a water bottle underneath your right hand. Inhale, reach your left arm forward towards the top of your mat. Exhale, low lunge. Pick your back heel up to square your hips. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, downward facing dog. A lot of transitions there. We're moving very slowly. Take as much time as you need. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Plant your left palm firmly into the mat. Draw your right heel down to the ground. Again, option to use a block underneath your left palm. Reach your right arm forward in front of your head and then inhale, circle, rise up, warrior two. Breathe. Again, make sure your front toes are pointed forward. If I were to draw a line from your front heel, it would bisect your back arch or back heel. Find that wider stance. Moving slow through this transition. Lift your heels up. Inhale, horse pose. Pivot your back heel in, back toes out. Right arm down, left arm towards the ceiling. Draw your knees wide. Again, coming to your horse stance. Inhale, breath. Exhale, double block. Move slowly. Cross your forearms in front of your chest. Begin to pivot your front heel outside of your toes so that your toes are pointed inward. Back knee bending at a 90-degree angle or a bit higher. Slice your arms open to your double block position. Breathe, Yogi, breathe. Lot of transition through our feet, through our knees. Taking this one slow, lift your heels up. Inhale, warrior two. Draw your left elbow in. As you start to spiral, send your left arm forward. Pivot through your feet to land back into your warrior two stance. Left toes pointed forward. Left knee bent over left ankle. Inhale, deep reaching warrior. Keep your pelvis rooted as you reach through your upper body. Exhale, extended side angle. Hand to the outside, inside, outside or inside of your left foot or left forearm on your quad. Inhale, spiral your top arm forward over your head. Exhale, low lunge. Pick your back heel up, square your hips. Inhale, knee to nose. Pick your heel up, draw it towards your glute. Exhale, downward facing dog. Feet hips width distance. Inhale, heels high, hips high. Exhale, rolling wave, pelvis to navel, navel to heart, shoulders over wrist, floating up dog. Start to lower your hips towards the ground. Roll your shoulders up, back, down. Drive through your palms, floating up dog. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll flow that same series, breath to movement, moving at your own pace, taking your time through these transitions. Inhale, lift your right leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Right palm down, left heel down. Inhale, warrior two, circle left arm forward and up. Exhale, through horse pose to double block. Inhale, deep reaching warrior. Lift your heels up. Pivot through your feet to your warrior two stance. Into deep reaching warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reach your top palm forward. Exhale, low lunge. Pick back heel up, square your hips. Inhale, knee to nose. 3-leg downward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. If that is too much for you or moving too quickly, option to pause the video and repeat that first breakdown of the flow a few times. If you're ready to progress or move with us, inhale, left leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Left palm down, right heel down. Inhale, warrior two, right arm forward and up. Big breath with this expansion. Exhale, through horse pose to double block. Inhale, deep reaching warrior, heels up, pivot through your feet, through your warrior two stance, reach forward. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, top palm forward. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, knee to nose, three-leg downward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, heels high, hips high. Exhale, rolling wave forward through floating upward facing dog. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more round. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior two, big breath. Exhale, double block through your horse pose. Inhale, deep reaching warrior, travel through your warrior two stance. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, knee to nose, right leg up and back. Exhale, downward facing dog. You got it. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior two, back heel down, big circle up through your upper body. Exhale, double block through your horse pose. Inhale, deep reaching warrior, travel through your warrior two stance. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, knee to nose, left leg up and back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, heels high, hips high. Exhale, rolling wave. Inhale, floating upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold down dog. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, lift your heels, lift your hips. Exhale, bend your knees, bring your hips towards your heels. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, hop, step, float, handstand all the way through to a seat. Teleport if you have it. We'll meet at a seat, top of your mat. And for a moment, just come to a seat, either crisscross legs or just finding a comfortable seated position for you. Rising to a tall spine. Relaxing your hands, palms face up on your lap or on your legs. Take a moment to observe the residue of all those transitions. A lot of mental push-ups as we move through those transitions, so just notice the residue. Come back to the warrior and yogi spirit. Feel that balance in the center. The warrior fights for that which can change. Observe your recent attitude, behavior, reaction. Just taking a moment to reflect. And the yogi sits and surrenders to that which cannot change. What have you surrendered to? What has been out of your control that you've sit and witnessed, observed? How can this practice connect you to the balance between the warrior and the yogi? Come back to your breath. And then as you feel ready, begin to open your eyes. Bring your feet out in front of you, bend your knees, place your feet onto the mat. Reach your arms forward in front of you, palms facing in. Axial extension. Work to stack the top of your sternum or the base of your neck with the bottom of your sternum. Lift your ears towards the ceiling. Now, as you do this, can you breathe as you find more length through your spine? On your next exhale, begin to tuck your tailbone, round your low back, and slowly lower all the way down onto your back. Once you come lying onto your back, hug your knees into your chest, give them a nice tight squeeze, rock side to side on your sacrum. And then send your legs up towards the wall, bring your hands down to your side body. Notice if there's any curve in your spine. As you inhale and exhale, can you breathe into your low back and draw your low back down onto your mat without shifting your pelvis? Maintain this abdominal pressure. If I was there with you and tried to slide my hand underneath your low back, my fingers would not be able to fit through because of that abdominal pressure. Take a full inhale. As you exhale, begin to lower your legs about 30 degrees. Hold, check in. Notice if you're arching or if your neck is sliding down. Option to lower another 30 degrees. Hold. Maybe a little bit lower so long as you aren't arching in the back. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Slowly draw your legs, your feet back over your hips. If you have a block or a pillow, option to take that in between your feet. You can also bring your arms up overhead, palms facing up towards the ceiling for a little bit of a progression here. Either cactus arms or arms straight up overhead. Inhale. Exhale, lower your legs about 30 degrees. Hold, check in. Make sure you're maintaining that abdominal pressure. No space between your low back and the mat. Option to lower another 30 degrees. Maybe as low as you can go without arching in the back. Hold. 3, 2, Jamie's working here. 1, legs back up over hips. We've got 1 more rep. Check back in. No space in the low back. Find that abdominal pressure. Lower your legs about 30 degrees. If you have a block, squeeze that block. Lower another 30 degrees. Maybe find your depth by lowering as low as you can. Maybe hollow body hold here. Lift your chest, head, arms up off the mat, reaching your hands behind you, drawing your navel down. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, full body stretch. Exhale, lower your legs, lower your arms, reach your arms overhead, point your toes, big inhale. Open mouth, exhale. Nice. Bend your knees, place your feet onto the mat. Just rock side to side for a moment. Bring your right ankle on top of your left quadricep. And then just slide your ankle a little bit off your left thigh to make it more of your shin touching your leg. Bring your hands down to your side. Lift your left foot off the mat, coming into a figure 4 with a 90-degree lift. Moving into a passive range hold here. So just take a few moments here and just breathe into your outer hip stretch. In a moment, stay as you are. I'm going to ask that you draw your left knee away from your right ankle. Jamie will demo for a moment, trying to maintain this degree of hip external rotation with little to no lag time. And then you'll draw your left knee back to your ankle to set back down. Again, trying to maintain the same degree of hip external rotation while taking your left leg away. This shows you mobility versus flexibility of your hip. So we'll do this together. Take a full inhale breath. Squeeze your outer right glute, outer right hip. Start to slowly take your left knee away from your right ankle. Squeeze. Try to keep your knee away from your chest for 3, 2, 1, tap your left knee back to your ankle. Option to take your right hand to your right thigh, draw your right knee forward, hold for 3, 2, squeeze your outer right glute, start to take your left knee away, try and minimize lag time. Notice if your knee comes to your chest, pull your heel to your chest for 3, 2, 1, come back, left knee to right ankle, 1 last rep here. Squeeze your outer right hip, draw your right knee forward, hold, 3, 2, 1, take your left knee away from your right ankle, hold, 3, pull your heel to your chest, 2, 1, set back on and lower your left foot down. Take a breath in and breath out. Bring your right foot down to the mat. Touch your left shin now on top of your right quad. Take just a few rounds of breath here, just again to notice the outside of your left hip. Lift your right foot up, come to a 90-degree angle. Continue breathing. If you need to, you can prop your head up on a block if you feel like you're arching a lot in your low back. I should have said that first on the other side, but on this side, if you feel like you're arching in your low back, grab a block and place it underneath your head. If you don't have a block, use a pillow. Same thing here. Drive your palms down into the mat, irradiate tension, squeeze the outside of your left glute, take your knee away from your left ankle, hold, 3, try and draw your knee forward, heel towards your chest, 2, 1, and bring your right knee back. You don't have to straighten your right leg, so we'll do a couple where we don't do that. Squeeze your outer left glute, left knee away from your chest. Start to draw your right knee a few inches away from your left ankle. Hold, 3, try and draw your knee forward, heel towards your chest for 2, 1, rebend, tap back down, knee towards ankle. Take your left hand, if you haven't already, to your left thigh. Just adding a deeper stretch, more external rotation. Squeeze your outer left glute. Start to draw your right knee away from your ankle. Hold, pull your left heel towards your chest for 3, 2, 1. Strap back on, lower your right foot down. 1 round of breath in and out. Awesome. Left foot down to the mat. Hug both knees into your chest. Grab behind your thighs, begin to rock and roll forward and back, coming to a flying frog variation. We'll show you that here. Rocking and rolling, bringing your feet as wide as your mat, rising into a wide squat position. So we'll just demo flying frog. Turn to the top of the mat so they can see you a bit better. Flying frog, from a squat position, it doesn't have to be a deep squat. You can lift your hips up a little bit, bring your chest forward, plant your palms to the ground. This can be your starting position. Spread your fingers as wide as they go. Plant your palms down onto the mat. Start to shift your weight forward by bending your elbows, bringing your chest parallel to the mat. Draw your knees wide towards your elbows. Notice this is different than crow pose. Crow pose, knees are higher towards your armpits, hands are a bit more narrow, and hips are lifted higher. For flying frog, we want nice wide hands, knees wide towards your elbows. Bend your elbows, bring your chest forward. Take your gaze a few inches in front of you to avoid falling. Option to stay here or start to lift one or both feet up, drawing either your big toes together or dorsiflexing your ankles, drawing your toes out to the side, ankles in. Continue to keep a flatter spine, a more paralleled upper body to your mat. Gaze this slightly forward, holding for as long as you'd like. 3, 2, 1, coming back to your squat. Inhale, breath. Exhale, forward fold. Toe your feet hips width distance apart or big toes touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Breathe in. Downward facing dog, exhale. Coming back to a similar flow as we just did before getting into some core work. Inhale, lift your right leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Left heel down, right palm down. Inhale, reach your left arm forward, circle up to warrior 2. This time, hold for your exhale. Find your warrior 2 stance. Spend a few moments breathing here. If you have a block, locate it and place it to the inside of your right foot. If you don't have a block, have a pillow handy. If you don't have a pillow handy, that's okay. We can make do with no prop. Inhale, deep reaching warrior. Keep your pelvis rooted, reach through your upper body. Exhale, extended side angle. If you have a block, take the block to your right inner thigh. Bring your right tricep and elbow to the outside of the block. Same thing if you have a pillow. Bring your hands to heart center into a prayer. Now, option, if you don't have a block, you're just bringing your right tricep and elbow to your right inner thigh, hands to heart center. Drive your tricep into the block and then drive your thigh into the block to really create more irradiation. Open your chest towards the ceiling, breathe through your heart. Option is stay here or progress to birds of paradise with us. Inhale, gaze to your right big toe. Start to exhale, balance on your right foot, step your left foot towards the top of your mat, coming to a half squat position. Shift the weight into your left foot, lift your right heel off the mat. Inhale, rise, birds of paradise. Begin to rise to stand, drawing your right knee up towards your right shoulder. Drive into the block. Breathe, Yogi, breathe. Option is stay here or play with straightening your right leg, hinging at your knee. Hello, quads, okay. And then rebending, holding, inhale, breath. Exhale, control the descent, start to lower back down. Release, forward fold, drop your block. Toe heel your feet hips width distance apart. Take your peace fingers, wrap them around your big toes. Pada Gustasana, hands to toe pose. Bend your elbows, relax your head and neck. Bend your knees as much as you'd like. You can use your fingers, your upper arms to pull your chest closer to your thighs if you need to. On your next exhale, release your hands down to the mat. Toe heel your feet hips width distance or big toes touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Take a moment, big breath in. Downward facing dog, exhale. One more standing side and then we bring it back to the ground to surrender. Stay strong, tap into your warrior spirit. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Right heel down, left palm down. Inhale, circle up, warrior two. Stay here for your exhale. Find your warrior two stance. Feel strength and power through your lower body. If you have a block, again, place it into the inside of your left foot or a pillow. Inhale, deep reaching warrior. Reach through your upper body as far forward as you can. Hold. Exhale, extended side angle. Take your block or pillow, place it to your left inner thigh between your left tricep and your left inner thigh. Bring your hands to heart center. Now, a lot of engagement through the upper back, through the shoulders. So drive your tricep into the block and then thigh into the block to create that nice irradiation. Gaze down to your left big toe. Option to stay here and breathe and then meet us in the forward fold or progress to birds of paradise. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, step your right foot up to meet your left. Coming to a half squat position. Shift the weight into your right foot, lift your left heel off the mat. Inhale, rise, birds of paradise, driving into the block. Find more irradiation, rise to stand. A lot of work here, stay with your breath. Option to keep your knee bent or a fun added quad cramp challenge, begin to straighten your left leg. Notice Jamie's shaking a lot of work, stay with it, you got it. Rebend your knee, hold. Control the descent as you lower, start to drop your left foot towards the mat, lower your chest down, release the block, forward fold. This time, toe heel your feet, big toes to touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, squat and curl, lift your heels up, squat your hips to your heels, bring your belly to your thighs, fingertips to the mat, tuck your chin, gaze to your knees. Option to stay here or play with wrapping one or both hands around your shin, giving yourself a big self hug for 3, 2, And 1, lower your hips down to the mat, come to a seat. Awesome. Way to be, a lot of work there. Send your legs long in front of you and just shake them out for a moment. We'll meet in a bear pose next. Bear pose position. Draw your feet out wide, heels in and toes out. Draw your knees to the outside of your rib cage. Walk your feet as wide as feels accessible for you. Take your hands behind your legs, and we'll just spend a few moments breathing here. If you can bring your hands to strap onto your shins if this feels like an accessible seated position. Wherever you're at, again, let's come back to the breath. A couple rounds of breathing into the belly, into the chest, and exhale, letting it go. Inhale, belly, chest. Exhale, let it go. One more inhale, belly, chest, and let it go. Bring your hands behind you for a moment to the outsides of your hips. Narrow your feet a little bit, so bring your feet a little bit closer. Just moving through a few rounds of a bear sit transfer to a 90-90 position. Point your right toes down to the mat, lift your right heel up, pivot your right heel outside of your right toes as you draw your right knee to the midline, and then start to make your way to a 90-degree angle. Awesome, and we'll just do that a few more times. Lift your right heel up, pivot your right heel inside of your toes as you lift your right knee up. And then left toes down, pivot your left heel, draw your left knee to the midline, turn your chest right. And then just flow this a few more times. Maybe you've done this as a warm-up before your workouts. Just feeling all of that work we did in our hips today. A little quicker. Awesome, and we'll meet back in a bear sit position. Awesome. Send your legs long in front of you. Bend your right knee, place your right foot to the outside of your left thigh. Take your left hand and grab for your right calf. Take your right hand behind you. Take a full inhale, breath, lift up through your heart. Exhale, supine twist, seated twist. Begin to turn your spine towards the right. Option to stay here or take your left elbow to the outside of your right leg, just to amplify or intensify the rotation a bit. Actively press your right foot down into the mat. This will help to find a deeper twist. Every inhale, find length through your spine. And every exhale, find a bit more rotation. Option to take your gaze behind you if accessible. Staying with your breath, now taking longer exhalations. Inhale, come back through center. And then just exhale, counter twist to the moment. Just turn left. Doesn't have to be a big twist, just turning your body left. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, send your right leg long, bend your left knee, place your left foot to the outside of your right leg. Take your left hand behind your left hip crease. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, rotate your spine towards your left hip. Option is stay here or take your left elbow to the outside of your right quad. Inhale, lift through your chest. Exhale, twist. Again, actively press your left foot down into the mat to help you with your twist. Stay with your breath. Notice where the breath gets a bit sticky. Last few cycles. And then inhale, come back through center, counter twist to the right just for a moment. And we'll meet back at center. Send your legs long in front of you or bend your knees, your choice. And then slowly just begin to roll down onto your backs, setting up for Shavasana. You can take Shavasana lying down, or if you'd like to stay in a seat for a seated Shavasana or meditation, option to do so. And then feel free to pause the video and take any additional postures that you'd like. If there's something else that you'd like to be doing to end your practice, feel free to guide yourself there. If you're lying down, shimmy and shake, take up space with your body. Open and close your jaw, move your tongue around. If you're in a seat, sit with a tall spine and lean into your back body. Close your eyes. And starting from the crown of your head, scan your head, the tops of your shoulders, your upper spine. Notice any tension and let it go. Scan your chest, your rib cage, your belly, your pelvis, low back. Notice any tension and let it go. Scan your hips, your legs, your feet, your toes. Notice any tension and let it go. Feel both the warrior and the yogi spirit sinking up center of your heart. I encourage you to stay in your Shavasana or seated meditation as long as you feel called or able to in your practice right now. And when you are ready to close and end your practice, do so with your hands at your heart as a symbol of bringing the yogi and the warrior into one. May we continue to fight for that which can change, how we choose to show up. And may we surrender to that which cannot change, how others show up. And return to this practice to find our center. We bow forward to seal this practice in as you feel ready. Namaste.